All right. All right, we're getting ready to do something special today, guys. So today we are going to, I'm going to share an entire training session with a team. This is about, I think there's 6, 7 people in there. I can't. You'll be able to count them. And I'm doing some heavy training here on different things, and you're gonna be able to see feedback, live feedback on how do I handle the training. I'm not just explaining points. I'm not just telling people what to do. I'm giving them reasons. I'm not very soft when I'm training because my I get desperate to instill that knowledge in people's minds and in people's perceptions. So you're gonna see me training for the first time. I hope you enjoy it. Take notes. This is gold, guys. I've been paid a lot of money to train people. I have been paid a lot of money for this. So pay attention to what I'm about to do here. So let's do it right now. Boom, boom. And I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, so let's commence the games. All right.
Okay, explain to me how that's a sell. How you're selling that.
All right. Enjoy that. So, so you guys understand. Let me just set it up for you guys. Right here, I'm trying to explain these guys that the best sell that you make is when you're not selling. Well, how is that possible? If that's what we're selling, you know, a service. I'm selling a product. When you get the salesperson, that's why I always tell people become a great communicator. Don't worry about selling. Selling is the least of your worries. Become a great communicator. What does a communicator do? A communicator talks, a communicator listens, but also that's not enough. But also, a communicator will process information to understand how to creatively find the best solution for the problem. And sometimes that solution is telling the customer you don't understand what you yourself need, right? And sometimes there are parts and obligations the customer has to fulfill, and you cannot allow the customer not to fulfill those obligations. Making people fulfill obligations is a very very tactful process, and this is what we're going to be talking about right now. All right, so enjoy it and let's make it happen. What they already were expecting to get out of Dustin and um, kill any doubt they have.
So, so I'm selling when I'm corroborating reputation.
I would say you're you're selling them on being prepared, right, and showing up to the call with respect, right? Because
If you're selling, because having the
All
wife
right,
there
I'm
makes
sorry, guys. I think you lost the sound, so I'm gonna back up. It's very important to hear that.
your wife is going to help.
I would say you're you're selling them on being prepared, right, and showing up to the call with respect, right? Because
If you're selling that, then you're doing it wrong.
okay.
If you guys are selling that, you're doing it wrong. You're demanding for that.
Yeah.
When I demand, I'm not selling. When I tell you, you gotta see, this is probably a lot of the misconceptions, because when I say to someone in the same way that you're telling me I'm selling that point and I'm gonna sell the wife. This is how I sell the wife if I were to sell the wife. Because having the wife there makes so much sense, because the wife is your better half, and your wife is going to help you make decisions, don't you think? What do you think how do you feel if you make decisions with your wife? It feels better? So I'm asking questions for the guy to agree that the wife is there. Here's how I do it. I say, your wife is going to be there. She has to be there. I understand she is probably the most important person in your life. And if she's the most important person in your life, then she's important to us. My senior director, here is where the sale does not happen at all. And when any argument about selling at this point, and it should be the same with reputation, where it kills all doubts. If my senior director, if your wife is not there, this is something none of you are doing, by the way. And you guys better start with it. If my senior director finds that your wife is not there, he's going to turn down the call. Where's that a sell? How is that a sell? Explain to me how that's a sell.
You're taking away the opportunity from them entirely if they can't be serious, so you're selling them on how serious you are.
You're still pushing for this. How am I selling anything? I'm demanding. All right, if you're talking about persuasion, that's something else. Persuading someone and selling someone are two way different things. Way different.
Gator, I think the answer to your question is there are no parts of this script that's a sale.
It's not that I want you guys to tell me that. Is that there's honestly, I have done everything in my power throughout my entire career since Mark Owner, the guy who taught me and gave me a lot of good insights, told me this is not selling. You're not selling anything. When I got that in my mind, I started making $400,000 a year. When I understood, I'm not here to sell. Look, I remember it was the difference between one call and within 2 hours, the next call, where I had Mr. Barber right here, who was the closer. We had cubicles. And I was sitting in front of my cubicle, my phone, and he was sitting right here. And I was talking to this guy, and I said, yeah, you gotta talk to my senior director, because he's gonna explain everything. This program is so awesome. You guys, it's just really what you're looking for. Let me transfer you to my senior director. As Mr. Barber is looking at me, from my side, from the corner of my eye, I can see he looking at me with his hand on his face like this. And then I transfer the guy. Finally, the guy says, okay, let me talk to him. And the guy's listening to me. And he looks at me. The phone is ringing because I transfer him. And he looks at me. And I say, hurry, the guy is there. It's a set. He turns around, he picks up the phone. I'm sorry. My apologies. I know that this is not something you want, and I'm not here to convince you for anything. Thank you very much. Come back when you're ready. Hung up the phone. So what happened is that, you're kidding me? You basically put a gun to that guy's head to be transferred. And then I went like this and I picked up that script. And I said, I'm just going to follow the script. In that script, something similar to what you're holding, I took the next call and I just started following the script. And I could hear the music as the expansion of my consciousness opened up, or my consciousness opened up. And all of a sudden I knew how to do this. And now Mr. Barber looked at me within 2 hours and he was like, now that's a set. Picked it up, we closed for $10,000. And never looked back. Because I stopped selling. This should be the most important thing salespeople get trained on across the field of sales. Don't sell anything. People already understand what a sell looks like, and everybody's selling. Everyone is selling. The minute you hit someone, you get hit by someone who's not selling you anything, they make a lot of sense. And now you trust them. I don't want you guys to tell me, oh, how clever, Jada doesn't make sell. No, it's not being clever. It's just, it's being faster than light. It's being better than butter. It's better than sliced bread. I guarantee you. I swear to you. Look at the smart on James's face. He knows, man. He knows. And Ian, the reason why he's not a closer yet is because they still think there's a sell in there. They still fight for that sell. He's still thinking, that's a sell, there's a sell, there's a sell. And I keep telling him there's no sell because oh no, the sell is right here. And then he start going smaller and smaller and finding the sell. There's no sell there. Yeah. And if you're selling, no wonder you're setting up the worst set I have ever gotten in my life. James heard that call. Didn't you, James? Was it pretty or what? Whew.
I was like, man.
Really sticky, huh?
I had to go to the shower. I took off my clothes, and I was crying as I was scrubbing my back, and tears were pouring my face, and I wanted to be clean from the filth. I felt violated and raped. You took my sanity.
I felt contaminated listening to it.
Yes, you went into the shower, right?
Yes. Pretty much.
Yes. You owe me a Happy Meal, man. You kidding me?
A Colombian Happy Meal or an American Happy Meal? It's like,
Una comida feliz.
okay. This guy. All right, so I guess that's a good segue into.
All right, let's just forget about this. Let's go into my new.
Oh yeah. What a new thing. I was gonna segue into how well you have a conversation with them is a good thing to be.
Short memory.
Go ahead. All right, so Ian, the reason why I love when you guys train is I can poke,
Holes and things, yeah.
right? And I can clean it up. All right?
So I
So,
wanted to train on this because I want to get better at doing it and qualifying.
no, and it's a great topic. Like you really hit it on the nail. Like you really nailed it on the head, right? Just the fact that you're talking about this tells me that you're aware of it. So, tell us a little bit more about being excited, because I want to go into that, because I really want to clean it up for the guys. We got 20 minutes left. Go ahead.
Well, I think another thing that's really interesting that also tampers excitement is the way some people can be two-faced in between a set call and a confirmation call. Does anyone else ever notice that? Where you set someone and they are actively engaging with you, they're listening to you, they like the assignment, they're willing to do it, they check their email as you send the research email, and they look at that there on the spot, and then you call to confirm them, and they're like, so how much is it going to cost me? or like, oh man, you know, I don't know if I can really do 2 hours. That's kind of a lot. And I don't really have a business plan. I just want to know what the price is.
We had this conversation with Robert the other day.
Uh-huh.
Bro, do you remember what I told you?
Do you remember what you told me?
Remember we had the conversation?
Yeah.
I think Nice,
yeah.
which, by the way, Nice is on the schedule on. You never confronted her?
I called her today, but I'd already sent her after we had the conversation.
Okay. So, what happened? Tell us a little bit about this. It's interesting.
Yes. So we had somebody that was set up for a mentoring, and it was about a month ago. And then she canceled. She got called to work or something, and then she signed up for the auction, like an auction call. And so I reset her just for a mentorship, and so then I went through everything with her, and I said that, you know, why should we, set up a call, considering that you skipped out on our last one, didn't, make any attempt to reschedule, you just canceled, things like that. So we finally came to a conclusion, called Jader about it, and then you told me that what I should have done is initially been like, look, what's changed between here and then, or between then and now? Like, you just think that we're gonna, come whenever you're ready. We have a process, and you basically told me that I should have been more out there and trying to, not say, oh, well, we have to make sure you're there. And I should have been like, prove me wrong, kind of.
Yeah, Robert, the reason why you're having a hard time explaining what I don't know what was going on that day, but you were rushing me. I felt like you felt I was answering too long of a question.
It was yesterday, and honestly, you kept breaking up a little bit, so it was kind of delayed. And so I didn't know if you were done talking or you were still talking. So yeah, it was.
Okay.
I was kind of rushing it all.
I felt, yes, I felt like when you, I read everything, guys. I read everything because when you have covered my eyes, it put me on with people just to hear their voices and everything that goes with their voice. I read so much that most people never have a chance to even contemplate. I read the voice, and I think that this is also something that Brandon is in the process to learning, and this is something that James actually has conquered as well. That happened, I went through the same process and was able to conquer as well. Is being able to read everything that goes with people's voices. There's so much character and personality and attitude inside a person's voice that you can read intention even when they're hiding it from you, right? So when I make an accusation that you've done something, it's because I'm reading into what you're giving me. And one of the things that I felt is, especially when you said hello, goodbye, we said goodbye, that way that you left the call was like, okay, got it. Like, I gotta go. Like, all right, got it. Too much. Kind of, that's what I read. So
yeah,
that's the reason why I think maybe it was delayed, maybe it was confusing, I don't know, but I think that's the reason why you didn't learn what I told you. You didn't learn it, right? Because you can't tell me again what I told you that day. So this is, let's put it on the platform, how we need to address this. So here we have a person right here who already scheduled the call, right, for 2 hours, canceled. She was already scheduled to talk to a senior director. Did you schedule her the first time, Robert?
Yeah, it is.
So it was Robert, talked to her, set her up probably for change, and then she canceled. Now she comes back again, and she schedules to talk to the strategy call, and then Robert picks up the call. And now we recognize her. And one of the things she says is 2 hours is too long. This is what I told Robert, and he doesn't remember, and this is the reason why we're not getting this. This is the reason why, is because I tell you guys, and this happens with Juan as well, I tell you guys these long answers with a lot of juice there, a lot of gravy, and you guys kind of simplify it, and then, oh, this is what he told me. He told me just to confront her. But that's not what I told you. What I told you is, make this a more existential issue. So when someone already canceled their appointment with the senior director, and I guarantee you the reason why she canceled is because you were to confirm, and then she remembered, oh, I have this, and she canceled. It wasn't like autonomously she decided to send you a text message, hey, I'm not going to be there. It's because you reminded her that she had an appointment, you were looking for confirmation. So she's like, all right, well, I have you here, I'm just going to cancel. So now she says 2 hours is too long. What are we reading into this? What's there to read about this person? Okay? Well, this person either does not understand the severity of the impact that she can find through Dustin, or she's a time waster, or she's a liar, that there is something wrong and I have to fix it. So what I told Robert to do is, here is how you deal with this. You have this person who says, yeah, but 2 hours is too long. And at that point, I stopped the process and I focused on this one issue. And I confront her. And I say, all right, niece, I think that's her name. All right, wait a minute, niece, I'm sorry. I just, last time you called in autonomously, we didn't call you out of the blue. We didn't call you. You put your name, you got the ABCs, you went through all that, and then you decided to schedule a strategy call. You get me on the phone, because this was Robert, I'm pretending to be Robert. You get me on the phone the first time, we go through 30 minutes, doing the same thing we're doing today. I scheduled 2 hours, and you decide to let me know once I was trying to confirm with you if you were going to show up, then you didn't want to call. Now, how would you feel, let's say, that you and I are, I don't mean any disrespect, I'm just putting it in terms you can understand. Let's say that you and I are going on a date, and I call you and I make you get ready, and then you call me and say, yeah, we're going, and then I say, you know what, something came up, I got called into work. But it took you to call me, and then I decided to call you 3 months later and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we should go out. And then I said, well, listen, let's go out for about 30 minutes. I don't really have more time. What does that tell you? That tells you that I'm not really serious.
Yeah.
That tells you that I don't like you. That tells you that I want to play with your time. Maybe play with you.
And someone doesn't value time the right way for the right things, right? They don't invest their
And
time.
above and beyond that, why are you doing this? You told me financial independence, right? So you have a job that consumes your life. By the way, you think you don't have 2 hours? You have 2 hours. Don't tell me you don't have 2 hours. You tell me you have 2 hours. You still want to do 2 hours. But if it's 2 hours, if 2 hours is tedious, it's that tedious to the point that you'd rather either just cancel appointments and treat business people like this because you just find it that it's tedious, then just don't do this. There's no point. But I'm not going to schedule another call with someone who already has a pattern of not coming through, not going through with this. It's just not going to be a good thing right now for you, unless you tell me, you know what, Jada or Robert, the first time it was something unexpected, I didn't have any control. But if you tell me it's 2 hours, I'll commit to the 2 hours. I'll talk to this young girl, I'll tell them where to make decisions. That's something else. That tells me you're serious about your future. But let's respect each other. Let's have ethics for each other, right? I want to be considerate of you. I haven't done anything to you to be disrespect me, right? I haven't, right? So let's keep it clear. It's 2 hours. It's about 2.5 hours. Do you have the time or not? When you've said all that and you conclude with that, guarantee she's going to come to her senses, and now she's going to say, okay, wow, this is a different level. As James yesterday, we had a call with someone who already paid $3,000. I had to kick their asses yesterday. Put them in their place because James knows he closed it for $3,000 and they have $130,000. They get $3,000. One of the things I asked them is, you know what? You're telling me that you want to make a lot of money, but you have $130,000 and you only invested $3,000. What kind of aggressiveness is that? That doesn't tell me that you guys are aggressive. That tells me that you're scared, that you don't want to make a move. You don't want to be risky. And the whole time the conversation was them silent, just paying attention. Just listening to me.
And then the wife was like, yeah, but because you were reposturing them to have a follow-up call and give them the day to really digest everything and decide whether or not this is something they want to do. And she was like, yeah, but we don't even know what the process is.
Oh, do you remember the price? You know, she talked about the price.
Yeah, and then you were just like, look, based on those questions, essentially what you're saying is based on those questions, you're not in the right frame of mind to be an investor, you know?
Yeah, she was like, we don't even know, so how much is it? I said, I know how much it is. I can tell you how much it is, but what would I tell you how much it is? When someone asks me that question, what they're telling me is that they're more preoccupied with price than the quality of the thing they're investing into. So I tell you the price. Do you know what that tells me? What does that tell you? If I tell
you were like, yeah, if it's 100,000 or 1,000, it's going to be too much for you.
Doesn't matter what it is. 100,000 is too much. 1,000 is too much because you have no idea where that's going to. So these people call back to schedule. This is what I want you guys to start creating for yourselves is question yourself, why is this person back here again? And when you ask that question, then now you're going to bring that question to them. Remember what I told you about logic? Logic does not allow you to fight. Logic does not allow anybody to fight you back. When you treat people logically, you can be aggressive, professionally aggressive, but if you're being logical, they're not going to fight. They can't fight you back. For instance, Juan had another double-decker, right? They already went through the process, turned it down. They knew it was $10,000, but somehow now they want another shot. So yesterday, I sent a message to Juan. I said, Juan, I guarantee you didn't do this. I need you to give him a call at 9 o'clock in the morning at the time of your appointment, and you're going to tell him, all right, listen. Oh, because last time, who tried to close him? You did? James? Was it you? Tried to close him?
Yeah.
They told, so $10,000, they told her.
These were people too. When I asked him, what does he want from this? He's like, oh, I just want to make, like 50 grand a year. I'm like, dude, you're not even in the right frame of mind for this.
So they took him to run around and told them they were going to think about it and all that crap that people do to themselves and us.
Right.
So I was not going to have it. If I would be one, I would say, listen, you went through a process. What was the process like? What happened there? You guys are not even thinking about it. You're not even asking this question. And you call yourselves salespeople. And some of you have been trained by professionals. And you're not asking, so what happened? You went through a process. What happened? Why did you take, why, if you had an opportunity, you're calling back for another opportunity, but you had an opportunity already. Why did you turn it down? Were you turned down? Did they turn it down, or did you turn us down? So what makes you think we're going to accept you now? Because if I'm going to set up another appointment with my senior director, it's like going for seconds, right? Like dating again, right? Like if you date someone and you turn them down the first time and say, you know what, you're too ugly, I don't want to be with you. But then you come back and you want to go out, but you told me I was too ugly. Yeah, but let's try. You think I'm going to go out with you? No. You see how easy it is to think? When you really put your mind to thinking, it really comes up with some incredible things.
You have so much leverage. I love when somebody turns us down or they book calls and they don't close with us and they come back around. That's the immediate first position I take with them. It's like, what's going on? Like, why are you back here? Basically.
Now you got to prove to me why I should even talk to you.
Yeah.
You know how I got my wife? It's an interesting story. And you think, what does this have to do with training? Everything.
Yeah.
I got my wife because you guys know that I'm very open with my life. I don't know why, I'm just an open book. And I've shared with you that I've been an addict, right? And that I'm a recovery addict or in recovery. And when I met my wife, I sat her down. I was clean for 2 years, I think, when I met her. And I said to her, this is what I've done, and I have this problems, but I was going back to church then. Church was helping me a lot. Not that I believed in any of it, but church is a comfortable place because it's where I grew up. Oh man, 58 minutes and I'm doing this fucking story. Anyway, I'll make it quick. And then I told her all my thing that I was in recovery, and she sent me a long letter. And basically, she said I can't handle having someone.
Too many problems.
Problem. You know what I did? We were sitting, we were taking some classes together. And I turned around and I never looked at her again. And she would talk to me, I would never talk to her again. I did a hard takeaway with everything I got, to the point that she ended up begging me to go back with her, begging me. And I said, I robbed her in every time I got, any chance I have. So what I'm saying is, this is human nature. if you're at their disposal, just they come back the second time, play with them. Make them, play with their mind. Give them the cold shoulder. Try them around and say, you know what? I'm going to go over and talk to you. I know you turned this down before. What's there to turn down again? Be smart about this, guys. You gotta be ahead of the game. Be ahead of the game. Your intelligence has to be in 3 steps away from the conversation. Oh, ahead of the conversation. All right? All right, go kick some butt.
Really quickly,
Thanks, man.
Yes.
This Victor Andrades guy is someone that James closed, and I moved him because I had him out for Saturday, and then you didn't want to take that, so I moved it to him. I called to confirm him, and he's talking about, no, yeah, you said like it was going to be at like 2:30. I'll be at my house by 2:30, not 2:00. So like,
you need to call it reposture. Don't. James is not going to take that without pause.
Because I had running to go to the Zoom, but I'm going to say something like, no, I had that booked on the calendar since Saturday, right? Like it's not. I know it's not that.
He's another 5K-er, AFAM guy, New Yorker. He's not a 20K. He's not a 20K.
Yeah.
He's not trying to get material.
Yeah.
You know what?
I'll give him a call just to give him a call.
But James, listen, man. Listen to me. Give him a call if you want. But if he's not going to be able to do $11,000, which is half of the 22, right? Why give him a call? You're not going to be able to sell him anything else because you already bought it. So just cancel, send him back.
Because he's talking right now. Maybe buyers are liars, right? But he's talking right now like he's really comfortable and ready to do the next thing. And like
That was back in July.
he wants to step out of his comfort zone to do more. So
This is Andrades, Victor Andrades.
Andrades.
Yeah, he's
All right.
He's Latino, Andrades.
Let's stop it right there. Did you guys have fun with that last story about my wife? That was cute. All right. I'm gonna stop this. Wonderful, guys. All right. So a lot of good stuff we went through here. It's what I do with trainees is mold their mind to, they already have theirs, like a diamond in the rough, right? The diamond is right there. I'm just chipping everything away so that we can get the pure diamond, right? Get some quality diamond. There are a few guys right there. The guy in the black that was at the bottom of the screen, James, he's doing pretty well. He's making a ton of money. The guy with the glasses, kind of long hair, not the guy with the beard, but the other guy that was right in the middle of the screen. They're working together, making really good money. That's a company that I took. When I met the owner of the company, these guys weren't there. They were making $4,000 at that per sale, not even a week, just sporadically. They were, they had the leads, everything, but the owner of the company would get on the phone and try to sell their deal. And I came in. I remember I was interviewed. And he said, here's the script and here's the product. I said, I don't need the script. I need the product. I'm pretty versed in real estate. So he said, well, okay, go ahead and do it. Boom, 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 boom. Every day I came out with a $12,000 sale surgically. And then from that point on, he asked me to bring people, train them. And this is what I'm doing with these guys right here. I hope this training opens up a little bit of that perspective that we all need to remember, especially when you're when you're selling an intangible, you're not selling anything. The least you sell and the more you help, and the more deals you're going to close. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about, how to embrace the no, right? How to we used to have a competition, not with this company, another company. I've helped about 15 companies with their sales process. And one day, everybody's tired, or was tired, of getting rejected. I mean, this is the usual suspects, right? They're getting rejected and get rejected. They're getting tired about that. So we had a meeting, and it occurred to me, why don't we just embrace the no, right? So what I did is I went with this experiment. I said, okay, fine. We're gonna find out, but I want you to be reasonable about this. This is what I asked him. I asked him, I'm gonna give you this task, but I want you to be reasonable. You are going to close. But here's what you're gonna do. Instead of rejecting the no, find no's, right? Find the no's. So I did a competition. And the contest was at the end of the week, and we set it up. I think it was a Thursday. On Monday, we set it up for Monday to start Monday to end on Friday that following week. And what I told them was, I want you guys to compete for the no's, but every time you have a no, be conscientious of the fact that the only reason why you're going to embrace the no is to find the sell. At the end of the week of the contest, the person that had the most amount of no's had the most amount of sells. And it was kind of interesting. It was kind of weird because, wow, these guys, instead of just cheating the system and saying, okay, so he said, I got to find as many no's as possible. I'm just gonna find the no's, right? But they got excited because now it was about being faster on the phone, not faster, not quicker, but faster, dialing the most and finding people, get rid of the people that were not interested, and finding those people that were interested. So that guy that actually won the contest, won the most no's, and got the most sells, the reason why he got there was because he was conscientious enough to sniff out the yeses, right? Inside 10 no's, you're going to find a couple of yeses, at least one yes, right? So embrace the no. Don't be frustrated. Every no is closer to a yes. It's one of the things I want you to understand, right? We're gonna talk a lot more about this, and I'm gonna show you guys a lot more trainings like this because I want you to have some gravy in this live events. We're gonna call it a night right now, and thank you very much for attending. And let's live the dream, all right? Let's you have a dream, let's live it, all right? Catch you on the flip, guys. Take care.